Hi, this is Jack Stanley, and I've been sitting here and we've been in quarantine since March 15th, so I've done a lot of reading and writing and thinking and whatever else comes to mind. And here, I wanted to share a few of the books I've been reading. Life and Events, which was written in 1859, and it was a plea for union before the Civil War started. It was written by William B. Victor, and fascinating book. I haven't finished it yet, but it goes on through so many things that were going on and so pertinent in 1859. Uh, of course, I always like to look at the various censuses. This is the census of 1860, which is fascinating. It came out in 1862. It's the only census I know of done during a civil war. And of course, I've been studying the centennial celebration in Philadelphia. And this is the whole book on the history of the centennial celebration. Fascinating book, full of pictures and information of amazing proportions. It's really quite an amazing book, and it's like 700 pages of information. It's going to take me a while to read this. Another thing I have mentioned to you before that I have been working on and reading is the political textbook or encyclopedia of politics. And once again, this was written in the 1850s, in the late 1850s, just before the Civil War started. And so it gives me an absolute window of political thought right during the time, just up to the time of the Civil War. And it's incredible because when you try to study history, one of the most incredible things you can do is to read about the time, read contemporary articles, contemporary books, theories, thoughts, arguments. It's fine to read a history book, but sometimes it's far more fascinating to watch the history unwind in front of you. It's really very important. One of the things I have here is so good for that, and where is it actually? It's up here. Hold on. This book here. This is truly remarkable. It's the Select Committee of Five, and it's dealing with the entire breakup of the United States, the seizure of forts, and the taking of various arsenals and surrendering of ships, and it's remarkable. It's basically looking at the government of the United States from around October through the beginning of March 1861. October 1860 to March 1861, just when Lincoln was ready to become president. So you have an idea exactly what's going on. And a lot of times when we talk about history, a lot of times when we talk about things that have happened in our history, we don't know all of the things that were going on at that period of time. It's a very interesting thing. And I always, when I teach or when I talk to people, I'd always suggest them, try to read period pieces, because you'll get a view or an understanding of how people thought then. Because so often, and you'll see it all the time, you'll see people say, we don't think like they thought then, and we interpret this to be different. Take a look at how they interpreted it then. It's a remarkable window into history. And I would recommend that for any period of time. If there is a written record, try to read it, because it is so much more enlightening than almost every history you can touch. History books and histories of a period of time, biographies are fantastic. But when you write a biography, you can't put all the information in. And that's why it's great to read periodical pieces, because, pieces that were written at that period are full of all the minutiae. And sometimes minutiae, the simple little things, are some of the most important and fascinating things. So, as we're all doing our own thing, I just wanted to share, some of the stuff I've been doing here, reading all of these various books and studying and learning and expanding my mind and understanding. And if I can inspire you to do some of this, do it. It's one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. There's nothing better than learning and expanding your mind, no matter your age. The thing is, I've talked to so many people that, well, I stopped reading when I got out of school. Well, that's one of the most horrible things I've ever heard in my life. I'd much rather keep studying, keep learning, and expanding my mind, because that's the best thing you can do for your mind, is teach yourself new things. You know that old saying, an old dog can't learn new tricks? That's not true at all. I'm a bit of an old dog, and I'm always learning new things and new tricks, if you want to put it that way, from old books and from new books. I'm enlightening myself and enhancing my understanding of history. So, I've kind of beaten that to death, I may say. So, read some books, study, learn, expand yourself. You will not regret it. Thank you very much. And please stay safe, look after yourselves, and this will be ending. And hopefully, when it does end, you have learned many new and wonderful things.